Yeah. So we will start designing a small project management app. Before you get into the project management app, project management app, all right. So before I start designing an app on Salesforce, just think about it. When a building is constructed, what is done first? First of all, the blueprint is prepared for the building. It's not the building gets constructed just right from the scratch. So you don't straight away jump into Salesforce for creating the app, all right. What you have to do is, first of all, you just have to create the base for that app, all right. I will give you some idea, all right, that what kind of an app I am trying to design. I want you to help me understand how will you design that app, all right. So you can, initially start on Microsoft Excel, or if you want, you can just do it on a Microsoft Word also. I will later on tell you how to, put that into an Excel spreadsheet. My concept is, let's say I am the client and you are the person, Salesforce consultant, all right. I want to design an app uh, for managing projects. All right. My requirement is I want to design an app for managing projects. I run a company where I take projects from my clients. All right. And I have a huge team of consultants who work on my clients' projects. Got it? So I'm running a company. I take projects from the clients, and I have a huge internal team who works on those projects, who work on those projects that I have taken, right? But the problem that I am facing at this point of time is that I do not have a proper project management system. So most of the times I am missing information related to my clients and the projects and the people who is working on which project and stuff like that, right? I actually want to have a system in place which helps me manage my projects nicely. All right. Now, because I have been using Salesforce for my customer relationship management, I think it will be good if I can use Salesforce for my project management as well, but I'm not very sure. Now, you will have to guide me what kind of an app can we design on Salesforce to manage my projects. I've told you my requirement, right? So, can you help me with an app on Salesforce that helps me manage my projects? That's what the task is. All right. So, I'm a client. I have a requirement of creating a project management app on Salesforce. Okay. My business process I've told you. My challenge I've told you. Now, you will have to come up with the basic structure of the app. All right. Okay. So I'll give you a few minutes to work on it. Let's say close to 15 minutes to work on it on your own. I will be just looking into your screen. So whatever you are writing, whatever you are doing, do your work from your side. Think, do a bit of initial thinking process, right? Basically, the other day, if you try and understand, the other day we discussed about that creating apps and tabs and objects and fields, right? From there, you might have got some idea on what an app is and what all things can go inside an app. So basically, at the back end, we will need a database to store all the data. In the front end, I will need an app. To access those objects in the backend database, I will need the tabs, right? So consider that part, that you need the front end components as well as the back end components for creating what I require, and list down what all things you will need to create. All right. So you will have quick 15 minutes to do complete thought process of your own. Write it wherever you want. Just make points on Excel spreadsheet or on your Microsoft Word. If you're not very comfortable with Excel spreadsheet, you can just use Word also initially, and then we will convert it into an Excel spreadsheet. All right. So your time starts now. Here you go. And please don't stop sharing your screen, because I'm looking into your screen. And I'll keep on guiding you if I feel that there's something which you need to do. You start in Microsoft Word. The way you are writing, I think, okay, you can go ahead on Excel spreadsheet also, but I think it will be comfortable with for you to use the Microsoft Word at this point of time.
Hello, hello,
Yeah, Brit.
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I've written some descriptions for the project management application. Can you see all these, or let me explain? First of all, I'll have to create an app with the name of project.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting?
I am getting you. Yeah.
Yeah. Under that app, we will create objects. Some objects we will use the standard, and then I even create some custom objects also. Like for the clients, we will use this account object, the standard object, and in that object we can have like custom fields depending on the requirement.
Okay.
We will put all the clients information in the account object, like the company, what company the client is represent. Another, we create a project object. It will be a custom object, and the main field of this object will be like the title of the project, description, like brief description of the project, like what of the project is about, the timeline of the project, and budget, like how much budget is budgeted for this project. And another important is the team, like which team or uh, employees will work on the project. We will define that in the user object. We will even
Okay.
create custom fields also here. Like another important is project team. It will be again another custom object where we define like field project, what project will be assigned to whom, like which team, and the timeline of the project.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what like in
Good. Nice thing. Now, what we had to do actually is we just had to basically, think about the fields also. All right. So this is where you should be actually thinking about the fields also. Um, Object, clients, accounts, projects is fine. Team is users. Okay. Just give me a minute. Project team. Which team working on which project? Okay. Do we need to create tabs as well?
yes, for sure you will have to for the custom object surely you will create tables. So this
Uh,
I didn't mention that.
Good. Correct. So creating the object will not resolve the issue. For custom object, we have to create the tabs also. Correct. All right. Now, what you have written here is not the right way of writing it, right? Now, you yourself cannot understand anything out of this. So what we'll have to do is we just have to make this document a little more neat and clean. All right. So just go to this page number 2, sheet 2. Rename sheet 2 to schema. Call it schema. Cool. Now we will just put the objects and the fields and the field types here. Got it? So we will put objects, fields, and field types here. All right. So what all objects are we going to talk about here? First is the client's object. Okay. So you have considered the client object to be a standard object. Let's consider it to be a custom object. So let's plan for a client object. So name it client. Call it clients. Okay. Good. Now all the fields that we need inside that object need to be listed below this. Okay. So let's say name of the client, name. So field number 1 will be name, city, state, city, state, country, phone, fax, and website. Or let's do one thing. Let's just do one thing. Let me just do it on my screen now. You can just take a screenshot at the end, and you can do it on your own again. All right, after the session, that will be a little faster. Okay. So I'll be just sharing my screen. Do you see my screen? Where I am. I think you can see my screen, right? Okay. So ideally, how you should prepare a document. I'll tell you how to prepare a very nice document and very nice planning using Microsoft Excel. Use Microsoft Excel. Take two fields, merge them. Clients. Put any color into this. Let's say this one. That's just for styling. That has got nothing to do with Salesforce. All right. Okay. Now let's say the name, city, state, country. Now all these things we actually discuss it with the client, and then we bring in the field details. All right. So because see, though you have named it as a standard object, but client does not know what a standard object is, right? So even while you are actually talking about a standard object or custom object, while you take that details from the client, you list down everything that the client needs to track. So they say, okay, we will track phone number also, we want fax also, we have fax numbers, we have the website, industry of the client, and let's say number of employees and the revenue. Let's say these are the fields that I need to track for the clients. Cool. Just corresponding to this, I would want you to track all the data types for all the fields. This should be text. City can be text. This can also be text. Or let's put pick list here. Okay. Phone number can be phone field. This can also be phone field. This will be a URL. So that you're not there is no communication gap between you and the client. So if you say that city is going to be a pick list, client should also agree on that city is going to be a pick list. It should not happen that once you put the data and finally the client says, hey, you know what, it shouldn't have been pick list, it should have been a text, I wanted to enter my own cities whenever I want. So that should not be the case, right? Industry, ideally it should be a pick list, but still there should be number and there should be currency. Done. Okay. So my first object is ready. Second object, as you said, I'll go with projects. Give it a different color. Don't give it the same color. Some other color. List all the fields. Maybe name of the project. If there is an ID, if there is a start date of the project, if there is an expected end date for the project, if there is budget, that's what you're saying. Okay. Any other fields you think we need for project? Apart from all this, do you think there is any other field that we need? Description. Okay, let's make a description. All right, cool. So description is there. That's fine. So let's keep it keep that for project. Okay. So normal border here, here, thick border outside it. Done. So two objects I've just decided on. Right. Now here again, make it a text. This can be an auto number. Start date will be a date field. This will be a date field. This budget is going to be currency, and this description is going to be a long text. Yeah, one more field here, which will be the client, which will be a lookup field. Okay, so I have two objects now, clients and projects. Third object that I need is consultants. So let's go ahead. I want you to do it again, the same activity. I want you to do it again after this session. Spend some time, do this activity so that you also understand how I'm doing and what I exactly am doing and all that stuff, right? It might seem very simple, but more we think on these lines, more we are, fluent with this. It will help us become better developers or business analysts, whatever we want to do, right? So for consultant, I will have first name. Okay, let me just check your thinking. So what all fields I should have for consultant? And I have one more question for you. Based on what you have written there on your what you have we are designing, you want to use the user object for consultant. Is that correct? You want to use user object for consultant? So what can be a challenge if I use a user object for consultant? Can you just think of one drawback if I use a user object for consultant? What will be a challenge in that case? There will be a small challenge. I mean, you can definitely do that, but there's a possibility of a small challenge there. What is that small challenge that I can think of? No, creating role is simple stuff. You have to have that many user licenses, man. If you have 1000 consultant, it's not necessary that you will buy user licenses for everyone, right? Creating role is something which is internal. You can easily do that. But paying for your all consultants is not, these are consultants who might not be working on Salesforce, right? So I can use the user object, but for that again, I'll have to, create every user I create, I need a license. So why do, you use all those licenses and stuff? If I have 1000 consultant, I'm not going to buy 1000 licenses. One license cost me close to $100, enterprise edition license. Or even the simplest one cost me $25. Correct? So that's just a small logic, right? Yes. So we will create a custom object. So there is a valid reason for why you will create a custom object for that. Definitely all those first name, last name and all those things are there in the user object as well, but does not work that good for me. All right. Okay, cool. So for consultant, I will track. Okay, there is one more small logic that I just want to tell you. The small logic is that there is a limitation on how many custom objects you can create. All right. Based on your edition, you will have a limitation on how many standard objects you are allowed to create. Now, in case you feel that you are somehow exceeding the number of custom objects and you are not wanting to create a separate custom object for consultants, you can make certain manipulations in the contact object and use that as consultant. Okay. certain changes in the contact object and use that as a custom object, maybe including a record type or stuff like that, right? So that's just another thought. Okay, fine. So first name, last name, email, phone, fax, location. Do you think we need anything else? Designation is what you're saying, okay? And I just have one more question for you. Why do you think you said name? I am saying first name, last name. Do we need to track name or first name, last name? Which one will be better and why? Logic behind that. There can be multiple consultant. This is the answer to which one? Should we have name one single field or should we have first name, last name two different fields? Definitely or is the option, but why do you think we should have first name and last name? What is the advantage of that? Common question, you will come across this question every time you suggest this to the client. Why are you breaking it to first name, last name? Why don't you put one single name field? Think about it, come up with the answer in next session. What is the advantage of this? Is again so not something which is specific to Salesforce. This is something which is very, very common in any of the databases, right? So why do we use, why do we split the names and why don't we use just one field for name? Try to work out on that. All right, so this first name will be text, this will be text, this will be email, this will be phone, this will be phone, location can be text, designation can also be text. So how many objects I have now? Three. One client's object, the other one is a project's object, and the other one is the consultant object. All right. Did you think of any other object apart from this? No, right? So three objects I have right now. All right. Now this client object is connected to this client object with a lookup field, right? This client field and project is connected to this. Or you can just use a small line to do the connection. So just use this small line from here to here to show the connection. Correct? Now go to, once you have created all these objects and stuff like that, just go to view and remove the grid lines. Okay. Expand it a little. Once you have got all the objects here, do a print preview. Go to page setup, make it a portrait, click on OK. Close this. This will give you the print lining. All right. So this will basically give you one page setup. All right. All that you have to do is create something like this. Project management app. Maybe let's say 14. Change the font to something else. If you want, you can put a color also on this. Okay, maybe write the name of the client. Okay, who's your client? It's not their clients, it's your client. IBM Limited. That's it. Yeah, one team can work on more than one project. That's correct. All right. So once you've got this kind of a page, you can do a bit of styling on this, whatever you require, and then finally you can just do you can just go ahead and uh, save this page as a PDF format, right? So it looks more professional to share this kind of a thing, a PDF format with the client. All right, that's fine. So this page, what did you call this page? We called it schema. So this is going to be the schema page, master page. All right. Now with every object, this is just holding the schema, not the details of all the objects. There will be multiple things for each object. Now what you have to do, you just have to copy it, create one page for each object. Clients. The other one will be for projects. The other one will be for client project. The other one is for consultant. Okay. So let's say this is a client object, client page. Okay. So one dedicated page to this. Here, what you do is you put details like field name, data type, and description. Okay, so it will be a good thing if you can just quickly do that same print preview so that you get that line quick setup, portrait. Okay, close this. All right, now you know this page is going to be till here. Okay, so for every field now I want you to track the description as well. Now this is a dedicated page for client object. Further, what we will do, we will put a description for every field, like for name, max length 30 characters, things like this. All right. For URL, something, in case you have any, particular thing, any validations and, particular rules that you want in any of the fields, that needs to be listed here. Finally, once this is created, okay, whatever page layouts are to be created, whatever records types are to be created, you will list down everything here on this page. Now this is a client object dedicated page. All right, so yeah, all the record types and page layouts we'll talk later, and yeah, gradually as and when we talk about those, you will learn about those. Finally, you should take you should be able to convert this also into PDF. Correct. So one will be my master schema page, and the other will be my client's page, and the next will be the project's page. All right. So this Excel spreadsheet will or Excel file will allow you to create a completely organized application structure on one file. Right. Correct. So just try to work on this. All right. Continue to work on this. I've given you some idea. If you want, you can just quickly take a snapshot of this. A print screen you can do, and then try to create this. Right. So as an how you learn more skills in Salesforce when you're as you're learning, I want you to keep on developing your document also, right? Because documentation is one key skill that a lot of us are missing. Cool.